There were these two films that I had seen not too long ago, and they were just fantastic, excellent films that show what great direction and writing and performances, just a lot of very strong aspects and elements in these two movies. Score, cinematography, it's really well crafted and well made, and like some of the finest films to come out this year, and it just really makes you appreciate like how good a film can be. Those two are Wind River and Good Time. Actually quite like that one. Great special effects. That was the highlight of... Oh my god, this video is fucking terrible. So the first film that I will talk about is a film called Little Devil. I'm sure no one's ever heard of it.
Everybody please welcome Gary.
Well, my wife and I just recently got married.
Gary!
Hey, she's perfect. She's everything I ever wanted. And, you know, I'm having a little tiny bit of trouble bonding with my new stepson, Lucas. Whoa, look at that. You found some earthworms. Good talking to you, buddy.
Little Evil is a horror parody about Robert Fitzpatrick marrying Kate from Lost and not getting along with his stepson Damien, who might possibly be the Antichrist. Will he survive? I saw that it was the same guy that did Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which is a movie I really like. So I watched Little Devil. I watched this movie, and what did I think? I thought it was okay. Okay, I'm done. Thanks to the 5 of you watching, and wait, what? What do you mean I have to keep talking? So this movie, at first, it had me a little worried, because the way the movie started, the first sequence, I just thought it was pretty lame, the way it started. But then, after the first scene ends, the movie worked pretty well at first. There were some things I didn't care for. It looked pretty cheap at times, and it tried to emulate like Edgar Wright's cutting a few times, which was really distracting.
Come on!
And then there was this one lady who's like Adam Scott's friend, the other stepdad in the movie, and she got on my nerves a few times. I didn't really care for that character.
That all kids are dicks.
That's true, kids are dicks.
There were some funny moments in the movie for about the first half. There was some funny stuff, like them poking fun at horror tropes, and there were some silly jokes that I thought were pretty funny. The lights going out in this long dark hallway, and like everyone not believing the dad, and they just think it's silly, and they take like the kid's side. There was some funny stuff going on. There's some jokes that don't work, like the goat puppet thing. There were jokes that worked, and there were jokes that didn't work. There were some issues, but it worked mostly in the first half, and I was like, okay, this isn't bad. But then, like, about halfway into the movie, around the middle, it just started dropping, and it started falling into its own like cliches and tropes that it would make fun of like before in the movie. It started falling into its own cliches, and there was like one cliche after the other that was going on in the second half, and the jokes got really lame, and it got really slow and bland, and that was when the movie was just like, it just became middling rather than just being pretty good or okay. And it's kind of disappointing because I really enjoyed Tucker and Dale. I thought that was a pretty clever and funny horror film that kind of like poked fun at these different tropes in horror movies and played around with it. It was very playful and fun. And it's disappointing because Little Devil had some pretty funny moments that were pretty entertaining. There were some pretty funny moments in that first half that I quite enjoyed. It's not as clever as Tucker and Dale. It's not as clever, and it ends up succumbing to its own cliches to the point where it like completely lost me in the second half, and I just became really bored. And then it ends with a lame ending, and I'm like, okay. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. It's not a terrible movie, though. It's not awful. I've seen worse comedies. That comedy at least had some really funny moments at first, but then it ended up just dropping off. Would I recommend Little Devil? Let's say this. If you haven't seen it, I recommend Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. That's a really good movie. That's a really funny and entertaining movie. Go watch that.
Gotta relax, man!
How can I relax? We're in a cornfield.
So?
What good thing has ever happened in a cornfield, Al?
Well, I don't know. Field of Dreams is pretty cool.
Okay, end of the review. I can go now. Wait, there's a Death Note movie?
All the people that make life miserable, make life dangerous.
What if we can change things?
There's a Death Note movie. Death Note is a YA film surrounding Light, Turner, as he receives a Death Note and a Pudgy-gami, as he's given the ability to write people's names down and kill them in gory fashion. Things are kinda sorta disrupted by Leto with a hoodie, who proves to not really affect the story that much at all. Wow, so exciting! I saw that some people were going into this movie, and I saw that some people hated it, and I also saw Wingard just tweeting out like, oh, trolls! I've even seen people compare it to Dragonball Evolution. I'm just like, oh, that's a big thing to say.
But, you know, after that excitement was kind of followed by dread and fear of like, oh my god, now I actually got to create this character and pull off this icon that we've all looked up to, you know, our whole lives. I was a huge fan.
So I saw it. Now what do I think about it? Well, I don't hate it, but it is not a good Death Note movie. It's not Dragon Ball Evolution bad. All the things that made the show interesting and compelling are not present in the movie. I'm really into the anime, and I tried to go into this movie as its own thing. I tried to disconnect the anime from the movie and just watch the movie as its own thing. And even still, I found the movie to be incredibly flawed, and I was just left cold. I liked two of Wingard's films. I especially liked The Guest. I cannot stand his Blair Witch, though. Hated that movie. The Death Note movie didn't make me as angry as the Blair Witch movie did, but I kept thinking of the Blair Witch because these two movies reminded me of a lack of understanding of what made the original sources work, and like seeing that in the execution of these two movies. The characters had no agency, which made for really bland leads. The movie's very black and white when it comes to its morality. Light is no longer an intelligent, unassuming character who slowly turns into a sociopath that he really is with a godlike complex, and L is no longer a socially awkward but smart investigator. There's no yin and yang or cat and mouse game going on in this movie. Light is now an obnoxious, idiotic kid who's actually good and the bad decisions come from another person, and L is a brass, reckless, intellectual eccentric who quickly turns and becomes irrational and gun-waving. Willem Dafoe before gives the best performance, but he also happens to be the most underutilized. He's barely even in the movie. He's only in like a couple sequences. It's a film that wipes away the most interesting aspects of Death Note and just turns it into a YA Final Destination with a big twist. There's barely any room to breathe or develop. Big portions of Light's development, they literally just wipe away with the montage. That big change that he goes through when he has the Death Note.
Let's just go over all of that with this montage.
All crime. Do you think that I'm crazy?
I think you're not crazy enough. We could change the world.
Now the performances. Oh, Nat Wolff.
It was nice to do a film version that sort of turned it on its head. That I think Adam has this sort of satirical sense of humor in like You're Next and The Guest and all his movies. So I knew he would bring sort of a Fight Club-esque edge to it.
That's an interesting response.
The only other thing I can remember seeing him in was in Dubious Battle. I thought he was terrible in that movie too. I've liked Lakeith Stanfield in like Get Out and War Machine. I thought he was fine in this. I just especially don't like the way that Elle's written in this movie. Shea Wiggum deserves much better than this movie, and so does Willem Dafoe.
I ever heard about you so much as looking at that girl? Uh-huh. You're gonna wish you were born without a dick. Whoa, 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 Terry. Whoa. Big mistake. Oh, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Big mistake.
I mean, that romance.
Hey, I got a death note. And she just comes running towards me.
It's okay, let's just throw in some gore and synth music, and it's gonna be okay. It's a bland, uninspired adaptation of fantastic source material. I do not recommend it, but what I do recommend is if you haven't seen it, you should watch the show. You should watch the anime. It's an excellent show. Like, people that aren't even into anime, they can just watch that and they can get into it too. I don't just go into things just, wanting to just hate them, I give things a shot, and I go into things, like, I heard Death Note was getting bad reviews. It hasn't really gotten a good reception. Like, people really do not like this movie. I was just like, just go in, see if there's anything I like about it. And if there is something I like about it, I'll say it. If there isn't, if there's things I don't like about it, I'll say it, And it just really left me cold. I mean, I didn't like the movie, it kind of made me want to jot down some nope. Oh, why, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, just give it a like, comment, and even subscribe. I would very much appreciate all these things. Maybe I can even write down some nope.
Explain what happened if Watson wasn't safely returned to me. Wait, you need to understand.